Can you imagine a way to prevent genetic diseases? PGD is a abbreviation of pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, a science procedure that can help the detection of many genetic alterations before pregnancy. Many parents know that they can transmit a disease to their future baby, so they decide to go through the process of in vitro fertilization and prenatal diagnosis to eliminate any risk of a sick baby and lower the risk of a miscarriage. Many genetic diseases can be eliminated through this process, such as cystic fibrosis, Cooley's anemia, spinal muscular atrophy, and 150 diseases more. The most common procedure, called blastomy biopsy, involves making a slit in the shell of a 3-day-old 8-cell embryo and extracting a single cell with a pipette. This cell is analyzed, and the scientists look for the presence of one or multiple genetic disease-associated alterations. When this process is finished, the embryo without the genetic mutation are implanted in the mother's uterus. At this stage, if we take one cell of an 8-cell embryo, then it's a 7-cell embryo, and all of the cells are similar, so it won't do no harm to the future child. The biggest problem with this type of biopsy is that it has been shown to result in a significantly reduced implantation potential after the embryo is transferred to the uterus. And the second one is more effective but is more difficult because of lack of technology, is called trophectoderm biopsy on day 5 or 6. This is less traumatic for the embryo because instead of manipulating the inner cell mass destined to become the fetus, they take a trophectoderm cell that will later form the placenta. The disadvantages of this procedure is that labs take 24 hours to get any results from the biopsy. And since embryos should be transferred by day 5 or early on day 6, it's not currently practical to do trophectoderm biopsy. Therefore, trophectoderm biopsy is performed and the embryos are frozen and transferred later after results of testing are available. Sometimes, people think that this method has no possibility of something going wrong, but in science, nothing is perfect, and everything has its cons. There is a 20% chance of embryo damage as a result of the process of extracting the cell, and if this happens, it will prevent the embryo from growing and will not result in a viable pregnancy. And there is a small chance of an undetected disease. Even though it is very accurate, it can't assure the couple that every health aspect will be covered. On the other hand, there are lots of positive things about this procedure, such as a wide spectrum of detection that helps detect many disorders and chromosomal abnormalities, and the possibility of an early detection. This means that only healthy embryos will be transferred to the uterus, increasing the possibility of conceiving a healthy child. The affected embryos can still be frozen in hope of a future cure to the disease. What people think. Ethically, this method is very controversial because some people think that PGD can lead to parents wanting to design their baby and choosing different physical and mental characteristics. Since 1980, 25,000 families use this fertility procedure. And what I think is that this decision is very personal, and each and every family should be able to choose to do it or not. But in really extreme cases and diseases, it should be accessible for everyone. As well, there are many cases of embryo adoption, because if there are more healthy embryos that the couple do not want to transfer, there is the possibility of giving up for adoption the embryos they don't want. The procedure is as simple as freezing the embryo and then transferring it to the adoptive mother uterus. So, if it was you, what would you do?